Hey, Raider Nation, are you ready? Let's talk about Colton Miller. If you've been following the Raiders, this won't surprise you. Colton wants a new contract. And to be honest, he deserves it. NFL reporter Jeremy Fowler shared the news yesterday. Colton isn't joining the team's voluntary offseason workouts. Why? Because he's hoping to get a contract extension. Now, hold on. Before people start saying he's holding out, let's clear that up. These workouts are voluntary, not required. So he's not breaking any rules. But still, as a team captain and one of the most reliable players, you want to see him there. I do too. But this isn't about drama. It's just a smart business move. Here's what's going on. Colton Miller is 29 years old. He's been a rock on the Raiders' offensive line for years. He's protected quarterbacks like Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, and now maybe even Geno Smith. When the Raiders picked him 15th overall from UCLA, it wasn't the flashiest pick, but it was the right one. Colton doesn't show off. He just shows up, plays hard, and does the dirty work every single game. But now, he's playing on a deal with zero guaranteed money left. That's right, zero. That's a huge risk for someone who's always been loyal to the team. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain why the Raiders need to give Colton a new deal. And at the end of this video, I'll tell you what that contract should actually look like. But if you're like me and you want the Raiders to keep one of their best guys, hit that like button because Colton Miller has earned this. And it's time the front office steps up. Now let's keep going, Raider Nation. Colton Miller is set to earn $12.3 million this year in base salary. But guess how much of that is guaranteed? None. Not a single dollar. In today's NFL, that's shocking. Colton is one of the top offensive tackles in the league. He's heading into the final year of his contract, and he still doesn't have any guaranteed money. That's not just risky. It's unfair. A new deal isn't just a good idea, it's long overdue. Now let's talk about age. Some fans say Colton's getting old. Really? He turns 30 in October. For an offensive lineman, that's still prime time. And don't let his quiet attitude fool you. I've stood next to him. He's huge. He could fit me in his back pocket. He once showed up at one of our wing eating contests just to hang out. No ego, just a chill, down-to-earth guy. He's a quiet leader off the field and an absolute beast on it. Now let's get into the biggest reason why Colton Miller deserves a contract extension. He's still one of the best left tackles in the NFL. Some people out there think he's not as good anymore, but that's just not true. Let's look at the numbers. Pro Football Focus ranked him the 13th best tackle last season with an overall grade of 80.6. That's not average. That's top tier. And get this, he played like that with a painful shoulder injury. At the start of the season, sure, he gave up 6 sacks in 5 games. But from week 6 to week 18, only 1 sack. He fought through pain, didn't complain, and still showed up every week. Now ask yourself, would most players risk their health like that without any guaranteed money? No way. But Colton did. So, if you're John Spytek or Pete Carroll and you believe in building a strong team from the trenches, how can you let a guy like Colton go? Unless some team offers a first-round pick, there's no reason to even think about it. And let's be real, no team is giving that up before the draft. And don't forget about his consistency. While the Raiders were going through head coaches, GMS, play callers, and quarterbacks like a revolving door, Colton Miller was the one steady piece. He's played over 1,000 snaps almost every season. Even in 2023, when he missed a few games, he still played more than 750 snaps. Different coaches, different systems, same Colton Miller, showing up, doing his job, holding the line. He's the kind of player you build your team around. Now, let's be real. If the Raiders don't want to extend Colton Miller, there's only one option left: trade him. But here's the issue. If you wait until after the draft, his value drops fast. Why? Because by then, most teams have already filled their needs. So the offers you get for Colton? They won't be great. You'd be selling him short. So what should the Raiders do? Tell me in the comments. Type E for extend or D for deal, trade. If you're typing E, then we're on the same page. And hey, hit that like button while you're at it. Before the video ends, I'll break down what I think his new contract should look like. Hint, we've been talking about these numbers for months. This isn't a surprise. Everyone saw this coming. And for those of you saying, just trade him, I've got one question. What do you want in return? If you're hoping for a second round pick, or better, then why not just extend him? It's that simple. Now let's talk about another big reason the Raiders must get this deal done. We just traded for Geno Smith, right? And we gave him a 2-year extension. So how does it make sense not to pay the guy who's supposed to protect his blind side? If you're going to invest in a quarterback, you better invest in the offensive line too. Otherwise, what's the point? I know some of you are probably thinking, it's just Geno, come on. I thought that too at first. But let's look at the facts. When Geno Smith has a decent offensive line, he plays like a top 10 quarterback. Look at the numbers. Last season, he was sacked 50 times. Not great. The year before that, he was sacked 31 times and made the Pro Bowl. The year before that, sacked 46 times and made the Pro Bowl again. It's simple. Protect Geno, and he performs. And there's more. Geno's even better when he plays indoors. In 14 indoor games with Seattle, he threw 30 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. Guess what? The Raiders play 12 indoor games this season. So, if we're not going to protect Geno's blind side, then why did we trade for him? Why give him that extension? That's why we come back to Colton Miller. This deal has to get done. It might not happen before the draft, but it's coming. Maybe this report will speed things up and get it done sooner, but either way, if I'm the Raiders, I'd keep everyone guessing. I'd tell Colton, hang tight. We got you. The deal's coming. Probably right after the draft. Because let's face it, you don't let guys like Colton Miller walk. Now let's talk about why Colton Miller is more than just a good player. He's a true leader, both on the field and off it. The Raiders respect him. The younger guys in the locker room look up to him. If I were Pete Carroll or John Spytek, and I wanted players who truly want to be Raiders, well, Colton Miller wants to be a Raider. His life is here now. He's settled in Las Vegas. This isn't just his job. This is home. And Colton's not flashy. He's a family guy, quiet, respected, and solid. Over the last few seasons, I've had the chance to get to know Colton a bit, and honestly, it's been great. He's been a team captain for 3 years, during a time when the Raiders have had a lot of change. And through it all, he's stayed steady. He's not loud. He leads by example. I remember talking to a Raiders player a couple of years ago. I asked him, who's the most underrated guy in the NFL? His answer? Colton Miller. Why? Because Colton shows up, does his job, and goes home. No drama, no ego. Just a guy who gets things done. He's the kind of employee of the month guy every locker room needs. That's why I know when the Miller contract rumors start heating up. You're not going to see any drama, no names being thrown around, no mess. Because that's just not who Colton Miller is. I still remember the first time I met him. We shook hands, and he seemed like just a regular guy. Simple clothes, down to earth, no flashy gear, no look at me vibes. Some NFL players love showing off their money, and that's okay. But Colton? Nah, he's about football, family, and doing things the right way. If this new regime really wants to build a culture, the right kind of culture, you keep guys like Miller in that locker room. Up next, let's talk about the Colton Miller contract extension. If you've been following this show for a while, you probably already know where this is headed. All right, quick heads up. Some of the numbers I'm about to mention, spoiler alert. Also, I'm filming this just before something big happens here at Chat Sports. For the first time ever, we're doing a live Chat Sports mock draft. All of our team channels, 26 or 27 NFL channels, are jumping in. We're going to be live, making picks in real time. Now, if you want to help make the Raiders pick at number 6, that one's all yours. I'm letting Raider Nation decide. I'll handle pick number 37 and number 68, but pick number 6, that's you. The whole mock draft starts at 2:15 p.m. Eastern. Jeremy Chugs and I are getting ready, and I'm not going to lie, I want us to win today. Win the like battle. Win the super chat battle. So, pull up, hit that subscribe button, and hang out. It's going to be fun. Actually, as I'm recording this, I'm going live in 20 minutes. By the time you're watching this, I might already be live. So, yeah, don't miss it. Now, let's get back to Colton Miller and the contract talk. Right before I hit record, I saw a tweet from Vincent Bonsignori. he suggested a possible contract projection. 2-year, $36 million extension, $27 million guaranteed at signing. That's $18 million per year. And out of that, $9 million would hit next season. So you're looking at a 3-year, $54 million total package, I'll be honest. It's not a bad offer. In fact, it's pretty solid. But I think it might be a bit of a low ball for Colton Miller. Not disrespectful, just not quite what I think he's going to want. Why? Let's take a look at what top left tackles are making right now. You've got Tristan Wirfs at the top. That deal came from John Spytek when he was still with Tampa Bay. Then you've got Trent Williams, who's also up there in salary and reputation. So yeah, if Miller is looking at those names and numbers, it's fair to think he might ask for a little more. If it were up to me, we'd probably have Christian Darrisaw instead of Alex Leatherwood. But hey, that's a whole different story. Let's get back to the numbers. The top deal I'm looking at for a Raiders comparison is Dawkins. He signed a contract extension worth $20.2 million per year at 30 years old just last season. Then there's Dan Moore Jr. Honestly, I think that deal was a huge overpay, but he got $20.5 million per year this offseason. So if I'm Colton Miller, I'm walking into that front office and saying, I want a deal in that Dawkins Moore range. Here's what that would look like. A 2-year, $41 million extension, $31 million guaranteed. That puts him right at that $20.5 million per year sweet spot. With the guarantee, that's $31 million straight into Miller's pocket. He'd be a happy man. That kind of deal would also restructure his current contract into a 3-year, $56.7 million total deal, with $31 million guaranteed. But here's the key. This deal would tie Colton Miller to Geno Smith, Max Crosby, and Antonio Pierce, not Pete Carroll, small mix-up earlier. If you're not looking to lock him in with those guys, then you're probably not looking to extend him at all. Now, here's where you come in. Get out those red pens and grade this deal like you're in school. If I go live and announce this deal, you better believe I'll be making a full video breakdown on it. So let's say the final deal is 2 years, $41 million, $31 million guaranteed. Total of 3 years, $56.7 million. That averages out to about $18 to $19 million per year. Not a huge overpay, not a low ball, just a fair deal for both sides. So what do you think? Grade it A, B, C, D, or F. Drop your answer in the comments. I want to hear from you.